isn't it?
What are you doing?
There's something in there.
Have you ever passed by a skip without diving into it head first?
I remember once when I was late for a wedding. I'm a scrimper.
Well, there are some people, Rick, who might say that people like you are not scrimpers, that you're cheapskate, skinflint, miserly.
Well, they might say we're resourceful or penny wise. I mean, scrimpers are just trying to improve their lives by making their means go further. And there's a lot of people all over the place who can't stand waste, who'll use things other people throw away. They're practical, and I think they're a bit bolshy as well.
So they wouldn't wash their hair twice because it says so on the bottle.
That's right.
Up comes a tomato box.
At £17 is there 18, at 18 is there 19.
Look at that. 50p.
If I can beat this blue roll to the other end of the kitchen.
£4 cash.
But don't you ever get things repaired rather than getting a new one?
Well, sometimes. I think most people do.
And do you reuse envelopes and wrapping paper?
Yeah, even the Queen Mum does that. I mean, it makes common sense.
Does she?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, right, royal appointment. Now, when your ketchup bottle's nearly empty, do you turn it upside down?
No.
Ah.
I thin it with vinegar.
Join the club, Scrimper.
If there is a Scrimpers Club, it's got branches everywhere and local presidents like Fred Ward. If ever a man stored his ketchup bottle upside down, it's Fred. He makes a living delivering fuel off his lorry, but collecting stuff off people is how he keeps himself happy.
Right then, this is the story of my life. As you can see, I recycle most timber that comes out of building sites. It doesn't look much now. I recycle the nails. I take all those out, and that goes as, I'm in the coal business, so that goes as firewood. This is a rope that we find on the beach and floats. Most of the fishermen have them from me. You know, I recycle them back to them. I get a few crabs and a few fish, so that saves me money. That's it if you'd like to come through here. So one of the reasons why I collected is because it's in my nature to pick up things. I'm afraid to throw anything away in case I need it. As you can see, if there's anything there catches your eye, lamps, kettles, telephones. When I was a boy, they used to have the old on the wall, and I was sorry that I never saved some. I didn't have the same sort of attitude I've got now towards collecting things. Granny's picture over there on the wall. I was telling you about nails just now, which I recycle. I don't buy nails. If they get a bent one, I straighten it out. I enjoy coming in here because I think, well, what have I got in there? I know I've got grass seed in there. Those old things up there, what will I got? I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you, said those. A lot of people had those over their beds years ago. Very interesting. Of course, they had big families as well. They didn't have time to read those, which was... that's how they spent the winters down here. It was long winters and big families. My missus doesn't come out here. I won't let her in through the gate. As I say, it's staff only I got on the door.
What does she think about all this?
Well, she says it's rubbish, and she's embarrassed by most of it, but when I put a £1 note in her pocket, when I've sold something or somebody wants something, I say, well, there, I told you somebody'd want it. I said, well, and that's what it's about.
Is that how you think of this stuff, like potential £1 notes?
Not in a way. It's like putting a nice comfort around you. You know, you've got it. Because as a boy, I never had a lot of. One of 9 I was. You know, I mean, I was actually born in Bristol. The Queen Mother saw my mother and said, "Your husband deserves a knighthood with all these children." The mother said he's got one, but he won't wear it. That is actually an electric fire in there, but there's enough screws, nuts and bolts and bits and pieces to do things.
You get around to repairing things.
I know people in the area who've set up little trays, like carpenters, people pottery, do pottery, and they're very good. And if you know somebody who knows how to do it, I know why I want it done, because I can take something fairly inexpensive and make something out of it. One of the joys of saving things, having the vision to see the end product, is a table like this. To you, it's a table. When I acquired this, It was a headboard. An old lady had it as a headboard. Because of the knowledge I've got, I had a gentleman, a carpenter, who actually made this, and that's turned what somebody would have thrown out into a valuable piece of furniture. Another exciting thing which I find is take a piece of crockery that's been broken in many parts. Somebody, even though this is 100 years old, is able, through the knowledge they've acquired, to put it back together. And that's saved. The world's full of good things, that's what they say. So if you have rubbish, don't throw it away. Windows and buckets and old bits of string, these are the things that make my heart sing. Waste not, want not, that's what they'll say. Waste not, want not, don't throw it away.
I'm convinced that the plastic bags under my kitchen sink are breeding.
There's probably hardly a house in England that hasn't got a surplus of these. It's like we used to have too much ash and soot, but that always got reused.
My mother used to clean her teeth with soot.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, today's scrimpers have got plenty of uses for these, like bin liners. But how do you control them? A cardboard tube. Cram them down one end until it's full, use them from the other as required, and any that don't fit, throw them away.
Good idea. I heard a story once about this divorced lady. And she sleeps one side of the double bed one night, and the next night she sleeps on the other side. And her sheets need laundering half as often as if she slept in the middle. It's a bit sad, isn't it?
I suppose so, yeah, but it's inventive.
You don't need much invention to raise money by selling things. There's plenty of places you can do it. But be careful. If you buy and sell, you're a dealer. The tax man or the DSS or both will be after you. Don't go and make life more difficult than it is already.
I think all the time you're a single parent, you have to be looking over your shoulder in case somebody is watching you or going to report you, because a lot of the things that I do and my friends do to survive are actually slightly illegal. So really, if you're going to survive and you're going to fight back and you're not going to sink under and just become miserable and depressed, then you actually are walking a very thin line.
What do you do to supplement your income?
I think basically what I've done is drawn on all my experience throughout my life and my network of friends, and that kind of know-how has kept me sort of floating. I still go to the markets and jumble sales, and I find bits and pieces and I just bung them in the bottom of a cupboard for a rainy day. I mean, nothing in this house is new. Everything is second-hand. A lot of it I've repaired myself, but I just don't go into shops and buy new things. I'm afraid poor people aren't very good for the economy.
No, I know that. Well, this is just a lot of rubbish, isn't it, Val?
Well, I was looking for a bit of skirting board, but I mean, this is rubbish here, but that stuff there, broken brick, that's actually quite valuable as hardcore.
Hardcore?
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, they use it when they want to fill in a hole, and they have to have something that won't sink, you know, so it's quite a solid base for foundations, for example. Yeah.
Anything here you want?
Yeah, this door, I think, will fit my kitchen door there.
All right, come on then.
Give us a hand.
Yeah, no. Better pull it up.
Oh,
That's
God.
it. Keep pulling. Careful. Bring it
You'd
out.
never
What?
believe it. I was just going to say that. Whoops, my fingers.
Yeah.
Hold on
tight.
I would never waste money on hiring a skip. I just put an ad in the free paper saying hardcore free to collector.
Oh, I see.
Which is a good way to get rid of it for nothing.
Yeah.
So
There's a car.
one day,
Yeah.
I had a phone call from some bloke, and I said, bring your car round to the side door, and he said, oh no, he said, I'm coming on the bus. And I said, well, you won't be able to carry much away on the bus. And he said, well, I only want 2 carrier bags full.
What?
Well, he obviously thought it was hardcore porn. So now I put an ad in, I say hardcore bracket broken brick.
I'm a car. What about the bloke who's got that strip there? Is he worried about you taking things out of it? Is it illegal?
I mean, I'm actually doing him a favour, because it means he can get more junk in. He won't have to hire another skip.
Oh, I see.
So it's
It's a bit of... You're being very
him
kind
out.
by taking this out.
Yeah. Sometimes you get a bit aggro, but the problem is if they catch you when you've just dumped a bloody great clutter in there or something. Right, okay, I'll just get this door open. Hang on,
Lift it
hold
off, lift it off.
Oh, all
Take
right.
it sideways.
Hang on.
Valerie, lift it.
No, look, it's heavy. I've got to
No,
hold
hang
the
on.
door.
Thank you. How was he going to...
Come here, look, I want to...
I think you have to be quite brave to be a scrimper.
Well, you've got to be a bit tough, but I play it like a game, and also I take it as a challenge. I'm actually recycling a whole lot of different things which would otherwise be regarded as rubbish. So I think I'm doing a public service. Just rinse my hands. Whoops. Oh, by the way, watch that hole.
Oh. Oh.
It's a trick that I picked up when I lived on the edge of the Sahara. I used to water my bananas straight from the bath, but saves on the plumbing as well. I don't have so far to go to my vegetable garden over here, which, as you can see, is a low-maintenance version. I just chuck all the potatoes and tea bags and everything on top, and they grow without any real tending, and at the end of the summer I've got a load of new potatoes just for me.
Val earns just as much money as the DSS allow. She's a foster mother too. Did you know the money you get for fostering isn't docked off income support? So you can get money and do good at the same time. What's running through her mind as she cleans it up? A nice holiday? A slap-up Christmas? An expensive burial at sea? So that's your little reward, is it, Val?
Yes, it's lovely, isn't it? I think you need these pleasures of life when you don't have a lot of money.
Ah.
Well, it can be a real drag having to find tuppence off everything all the time and not being able to afford things. So if you have one little pleasure to look forward to every day, it makes life quite bearable.
Well, you look like a millionairess laying in there, Val.
Well, actually, I feel like one at the moment.
I'm not a dog owner, but I'm delighted to tell you that if you cut off the corner of a cereal packet, like this, it makes an unrivaled pooper scooper. See? Like that.
Look at that, an aluminium pan with a bulging bottom. And flat surfaces conduct heat much more efficiently on an electric ring. So beat a bent bottom flat with a hefty mallet, not a hammer, and you could save 30% every time you boil a pan of water.
Do you know, it costs you 25p to call directory inquiries from your own home, but if you go to a public call box, the same call costs you nothing. If I hadn't been an actor, I'd like to have been an effects man, clicking switches.
Danger of death. I can see countless ways of killing myself within easy reach. And what is the deal here?
Well, we're busy getting together a performance for the group ARC for tonight, and the pieces you can see here are sculptures and instruments which are designed to interact with light and sound in order to create some spectacular event. These are faulty gas flanges which have been scavenged from various sources. And
Do they sound as good as they look?
well, yeah, they've got drum heads on them, so they're... very loud.
Great. What else have you got?
Well, we've got some screens over here that were made by Clegg. These are beaten out oil drums.
That's cut with oxyacetylene, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. With it's a very quick process using the oxytorch, and you end up with a very nice blobby edge around the side of it. Yeah.
Right. And this magnificent tree that we've got back here.
Well, this was inspired by buying a box of about 300 flash cubes from car boot sales. Somebody
right.
shutting their photography shop down or something.
And not much demand for them these days.
No, that's right. They're a bit obsolete, but luckily I can use them. They only work once each, though, and
Yes, they do.
They're triggered by a current going up through this 48-core computer cable.
What are those solenoids?
Yeah, that's right. They're solenoids from a brewery skip, actually, and plus all the piping and fittings, and again using multi-core to trigger them off in a sequence of which lets butane gas run through these instead of beer, which is a slight change in purpose.
Yeah, good to look at. Nice to drink, really. But you didn't get any of this stuff at B&Q, did you?
No, that's right. You can't buy this sort of stuff. You have to find it, and that's part of the process, is the luck and the observation of finding these materials around, which then inspire the work.
In every city centre, there's old buildings to be recycled. Just down from the Bullring in Birmingham, they don't make custard anymore, but there's cheap space for painters and potters, photographers and sculptors, actors and dancers. Part of the factory is still untouched.
You've got yourself an all-weather scrapyard here.
Yeah, it's an old clothing factory.
Yeah?
Rubbish around here that people have left. Boxes.
Well, you found stuff before?
Yeah, I've got bits from here before, so... And I think around about here... Yes.
Is that what you need?
A bit of treasure, an old steam iron by the looks of it. Yeah.
All right.
And inside that, should have some microchrome wire.
So the principle is keep your eyes open, your wallet closed, and the imagination running wild, right?
And you'll find treasure, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know the inside of an iron looked so gothic.
Yeah, and from the shape we've got an iron cross here.
Right. When's showtime?
Well, we've got to wait for it to get dark.
Oh, we'll be back.
The show is called In Danger of Death. Picasso made a bull's head out of a bicycle saddle and a pair of handlebars he'd found. But he didn't make flashes and bangs like Johnny Easterby does out of the things he finds. The other difference is, what Johnny Easterby makes, you can't hang on the wall. This has been my pride and joy for 20 years. Now I've been told I've got to get rid of it. I can hardly bring myself to do it.
Yeah. Well, you're a gardener. You could rip out the insides and use it as a seed propagator.
Propagator? It's a good idea, but I wouldn't be able to play my 78s on it, would I?
No.
Right, I've changed my mind. Behind the green door live Joe and Laura Horn. Except you have to go around the back way. You can't get in that way. They've locked the front door. You see, what they've done, they've scrimped themselves an extra room.
I came to live up here about going on for 30 years since, but I originate from Yorkshire, as you can probably tell by my speech. I was born just before the First World War, so of course there wasn't much money about in those days. So that was it, scrimped in those days. And then when I was a young married woman, it was the 30s, so of course there wasn't any money in the 30s. You had to scrimp and scrape and make do. And then the Second World War came along, and once again it was scrimping, make do and mend and all like that. And this is how I come to make do and mend. This is a sheet from a double bed, so when it wears in the middle, I cut the middle out, put the side ends together and make a flat seam like that. And then, you see, you can't feel it when you lie on it. Now, with the middle pieces, I make dusters like that. You see, just hem them. Well, that hasn't been hemmed properly. That's out of a. I've had that one a long, long time. And with these other little bits I use for putting polish on when I'm polishing the furniture or brasso. This is an oven cloth to go in the oven. Because it costs quite a lot of money, you know, to buy these. And they're nice and thick. Look how nice and thick they are. And this, I made two. There's another one in the kitchen. This was made out of some old curtains. Now, this T-shirt I have on, you wouldn't believe this, but I'm forced to laugh when I think about it. I went to a fair at our Over 55 club, and there were two of these, and the gents' thermal vests, but they make nice warm T-shirts, don't they? Yes, that's it. So, and of course I save all Joe's underpants and vests. They come in for dishcloths because they cost a lot of money, the dishcloths to buy. And that's my sewing finished. Now, I'm in a writers group. It's called the Wansbeck Writers Group, and we meet every Wednesday morning, and we have a project every week to write about, and of course, with only just being a learner, I have to do a lot of writing and writing over and over again. So to save paper, when I get any correspondence like that, I don't throw that away. I just turn it over, put it in the typewriter, and I practice, you know, ACBD on the typewriter. So that saves good writing paper, because I can't. Well, the Yorkshire word is foil. I don't know if you use the Yorkshire word foil, but that means you begrudge using something if it's not going to be used properly, you see. And I've just come across a little poem here that I did called Awaiting the Call. Would you like me to read that? They said, don't expect a letter. We haven't time to write. Now, if you had the telephone, we'd ring you every night. So we got a telephone, a very modern thing. Extra earpiece, bright green light, and very loud ring, ring. But contact is no better. It hasn't changed at all. We don't expect a letter, and we never have a call. That's the washing finished. I've put it in the spin dryer, and water runs out of the spin dryer into the tub. And I like the twin tub because I can siphon the soapy water off into the bucket, and outside I can wash the steps with the soapy water, and that isn't wasted it. Sometimes I get on my own nerves trying to think of how to save things because I've no need to do it, but it's just second nature being a Yorkshire woman. I've always had to do it, and I shall always continue to do it as long as I live.
Thrifty 50. 50 ideas to help you scrimp. For a copy, send a postal order or cheque for £2 made out to Channel 4 to Scrimpers, P.O. Box 4000, London W3 6XJ.
Waste not, want not, that's what they'll say. Waste not, want not, don't throw it away.
Click on screen for more videos of extraordinary humans.